Hey, what's up? This is Gerardo Morillo. Today we're gonna talk about stop changing yourself for other people. How many times in your life do you find it that you always have to change who you are, change what you do, change what you say, change what you wear? You're always getting their feedback and you're always changing these different parts of who you are, changing your identity, changing your persona to conform to their values, their beliefs. Now, let's put a stop on that. Let's put a pause on that. Why? Most people are doing this thing where they are trying to make you like them. It sounds actually kind of funny because all their advice and their opinions is generally to make you like them. What I tend to do instead personally is I see who they are and I try to give the best advice for who this person is that I'm talking to, not for who I want this person to be, not to so they conform to my values. Now, again, I'm very advanced with this stuff, so what I tend to do is very, very wide and flexible. I have hundreds and thousands of different options, but like in this case, like I generally don't I generally don't impose my values and beliefs onto other people because I'm considering who they are as a person. First of all, maybe they don't even want the philosophy. Two, is pretty disrespectful when I'm over here sharing ideas. Now, if what we're doing is like we're talking, we're having ideas, we're sharing ideas, then that's fair game. That is fair game. If we're sharing ideas and we're just free flowing, we're having fun. Hold on, my phone is acting up. Sorry about that. One second. So we're sharing ideas, we're having fun, we're spontaneous, we're in the moment. It's we're just having fun. So it's not we're just being random. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. But so let's say you want to you want to be a change agent to someone, you want to help other people. This is when you got to start actually really start to be more creative and strategic with how you conduct your own behaviors if what you're trying to do is change another person. Because this is a whole different ballgame. When you're just out there having fun, being spontaneous, that's one thing. When you're out there and you want to provide therapy work to someone, that's a whole completely different field. There's strategy, there's human decision making, there's how the brain works, there's physiology, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all that good stuff. That's a whole completely different ballgame. You also gotta consider where that person's at in their life. What are they ready to hear? Anyways, I think I kind of went off topic here, but it's all kind of connected in one way or the other. What I was really talking about was stop trying to change yourself for other people. Okay, you need to get to a point where you are grounded in who you are. You know who you are. You know what you stand for. You know your beliefs. You know your values. When this person comes in, starts to try and change shit up, that's a fucking negative. You know, I don't see that in my list of values. I don't see that in my list of beliefs. Goodbye. That's a no-no. Okay? This is when you are finally operating at your core being, when you are operating with who you really are. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to change you and change you and change you and change you and change you so that you match who they think you should be or who match their values, not your values. You want to get to a point where you know who you are operating from your core way of being. This is you, I am me. You take it or you leave it. That's the point where you want to get to, where, okay, you hear what they say and it doesn't even matter. They start imposing opinions, they start imposing changes. Okay. Now, it's not to say that their opinions don't matter, and it's not to say that you should be rigid and you shouldn't like be flexible or adaptive, where you listen to what they have to say. You consider what they have to say. You listen to it, but the point is that you should get to a point where you are self-grounded, self-centered. You are strong enough in who you are as a person, where one person comes through and they start opposing opinions. Yo, your opinion don't matter. Your opinion don't matter. Now, if they're being polite and friendly, they offer an opinion. You know, it's different. Like, if someone tells me something and it's a good advice, I'm gonna take it good advice. If it's good advice, it's good advice. If it's good tips, it's good tips. If they tell me, hey, this is my favorite restaurant, I went here the other day and it was delicious, best food, you should go there. I'm like, all right, I'll go there. Hey, you should go to this store, it's good. All right, I'll check it out. So things like that, like, it's no problem. That's fair game. Like, all right, they give you a tip, they give you a strategy, they give you they tell you something about themselves, something they're sharing, a piece of who they are, what they like. Now, the thing is, what I'm talking about, like, is in human relationships where you have one person who is trying to fucking change you and 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 change you again. Now, that's a no-no. That's a negative. That's when you pull the plug on that shit. That is one, that's disrespectful. Two, they're trying to boss you around, be the leader of you, and very disrespectful. Very entirely. I almost feel like like right now, I'm actually kind of getting mad right now. Just thinking about it, I feel like slapping somebody just even thinking about it. I feel I'm getting kind of heated up right now. It's like who is this person trying to change you? Who is that person trying to like change you and 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 change you? Like, who is that person? Right now, like, I'm actually getting a little angry just thinking about that. Like, it's all right when they give you their feedback, they give you their tips and their strategies, but there's a certain point where they're overly trying to change you, where it doesn't even make sense anymore. Now, one thing that you can do is find someone who you are mutually compatible on a super unconscious level, where you don't even need to be changing each other because you are just like two puzzle pieces that just belong. Like, click, it's just a click right there. Or click. Or, well, not exactly, but you get the idea. Point is, what they think don't matter. That's the point. If if it's again, if they're being friendly, they give you, hey, this is what I think about that. You know, if they hit you up like that, this is what I think about that. Consider this. If they hit you up like in that way, then you for sure like you hear what they have to say. But if it's like if you find yourself in a scenario where this person is constantly trying to change you, that's a negative. That's a no-no. Especially like if you're a man dating a woman. And I know, we as men, we hold on one second. All right, hold on, give me a second. So I know like we as men, we tend to adapt for the pussy. We want the pussy, so we start changing ourselves, we start changing our personality, and we start acting now in different ways because hey, we want to get her. We want to win her over. Because the way that the dating game works, the attraction works, is that it's men pursue women. Women are receiving. Women are in defense mode. Men are in offense mode. Men are going to get something. Men are going to hunt. Men are going to get it. Men is going to get the food. That's how it works. So in this case, women are the food, and men are the hungry hunters who are hungry for a piece of snack. That sounded kind of funny, actually. All right. So the thing with this thing is that women generally have a lot of power in the dating game and the attraction game, Once you get to a point where you as a man, you know the whole game, you know the whole business, you get to a point where what she says doesn't really matter anymore. You really get to that point where everything that she says does not matter anymore. Because you know once you as a man, you know all the answers, you know the game playing, you know what they're doing, you know their kind of tricks, you know their sneaky little tactics, and you can call them out on their stuff. Once you get to that point of a man, like what they do and what they say doesn't really matter no more. And that's a really good position for you to be as a man where what they do, what they say does not matter. Now, some people can take this a couple ways. They can take this as this sounds kind of depressing. It is what it is. It's the nature of the game. This is how you as a man you win the game. Because it's a game and they're trying to kind of covertly, they're very sneaky. Women are very sneaky with how they're trying to like, you know, extract resources and more resources and more resources and whatnot. I can go on, but it's not really worthwhile. Essentially, their role is just to get resources, find a provider, find a protector, find someone to take care of the family, and find someone who is going to take care of them. Basically, get food on the table and take care of the baby. That's what they're looking for. I'm going to keep that real simple right now because I'm not going to go into the very overly complicated details in this video. They're going for a provider and a protector. Now, what does that mean as, like, if you're a guy watching this, what does that mean for you? This doesn't mean like, where does the changing thing come in play? Like you having to change yourself for her needs and this and that. Now, one seduction tactic is mirroring. You mirror her wants so that you become that. So that's another kind of thing you can do. Another thing you can do is just find someone who's naturally attracted to who you are already. Find someone who is already attracted to who you are right now. That's another thing you can do. So instead of changing yourself, just find someone who likes you for who you are. They're your normal version of you. And then I actually gotta put like an asterisk there. And this doesn't also mean that you don't change yourself. You always improve yourself. But you should always be improving yourself, no doubt. Okay, I'm just gonna say that you should always just be improving yourself. But when I'm talking about like you for who you are, it's more like liking your most natural, authentic self versus the person who you are when you're kind of performing and you're playing a character so you can win her over. We as guys, we all do this stuff because that's how you play. You gotta put your that's how it works. You gotta play a character to get her over. Because we as men, we know this whole game is just we know this whole game is silly. We know that it's silly. We play the game for their entertainment and so that we can get, sex in return. But men who are, real men know the game is silly. Real men know the game is just, it's a game. It's, you're there to entertain her so that, you're gaming her so that it's for her value, for her benefit. But real men know it's a game. It's just what it is. All right, so I'm just going to close this up and say, this is for people, oh man. Because a lot of these things are very contradictory. A lot of what I say is very contradictory. And it depends on what strategy you're going with. Because I have a lot of strategies, a lot of different strategies that they contradict each other, and that's normal. So in this video, this one is saying stop changing yourself for another person. Instead, make other people like you for you. Make other people like you for who you are. Now this is contradictory to the one where you find out what they want and you give it to them. Now, in addition to that, they can all you can also just project who you are. Find someone who likes that right now, who just find someone who is naturally receptive to who you are naturally, instead of conforming yourself to their kind of whim and whimsy. And it's that simple. Because like if they're looking for a certain kind of like again, it's all about trading. It's all trades. This person is looking for this, this, and this, and this, and that. Then all you gotta do is just fit the bill. It's like a resume. Human relationship, I guess you could say, is like a resume. But this doesn't even really matter. All I'm really teaching right now is just the core principles, the core strategies. I'm not even talking to, telling you that you really need to apply this in those kind of scenarios, because you know it's not that serious in that way. This is just so that you can apply the strategies and tactics so that you are living at your core being, as opposed to, you know, what a bunch of random people are telling you who you need to be, who you should be. In addition, like, man, because this stuff is very advanced, like, pay attention to your market, pay attention to the feedback, listen to what other people have to say, and then, make some small adjustments. But at the end of the road, at some point, there comes a point in time where, you're done growing, you're done changing, and you're really, I don't even want to say that either, but you finally get to a point where you are an established persona, you are an established identity. You are you. This is it. This is it, right? Like at some point you get to a point where this is who you are. And if if you get another person into your life, they either like it or they don't like it. And you got to ask the question though. If they don't like you or if they're constantly changing you, that to me means that, maybe they don't really like you. Because if they're always constantly trying to change you, maybe they don't really like you. And put a pause on that too. Perhaps they want to help you improve in some kind of way. Maybe they're trying to help you see some certain blind spots that you're not seeing. But once more, like again, when you get to that point, when you get to that point, when you are strong enough within who you are and you're centered in your core being, nothing that anyone says matters. Okay? Nothing at all. The US government don't matter, the news don't matter, nothing anyone says matters. The only thing that matters is like what you think, what you feel, what you like, what are your likes and dislikes. That's really what matters the most. Everything, everybody else, you know, who cares? They're just there. They're literally just there in the background. Now, this is obviously like it's very situational and very contextual. What I'm talking about is more like on a philosophical, psychological, and even spiritual. Whereas get into who you are and just accept that and stop like worrying about what people are thinking and saying. Stop worrying like how they trying to change you, whatever. Because they're actually really trying to change you for their benefit. As funny as that sounds. So this is what you do. You tell them to fuck themselves. Honestly, tell them to fuck themselves. If you feel like they don't have good intentions, tell them to fuck themselves. Because they're trying to change you for their benefit, not your benefit. This has been Gerardo Morillo, Spiritual Master. If you like this, please give this a like. For more resources, check out with the links down below. Thank you so much for watching. Check me out on prosperitylife.com. Share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them down below. Until next time.